Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to Fallen London. I'm your host, the Lost Chevalier, and we are here today going to court because I want immediately to go back to court. But before that, I need to get my professional reward right now. Thank you. After that, I'm gonna do my cards. A visit. One of your acquaintances is receiving visitors. Who will you call on? I will call on the sardonic Halsinger. A shady fellow in a cloth cap saunters casually in your discretion, but veers off when you blink pleasantly at him, down the grimy alley and up the stairs to knock on the singer's door. Advance your friendship to a condition of intimacy. You have both been exchanging some significant glances of late, but who knows what havoc it might wreak if you change the rules of your acquaintances. Ha ha! Yes, an intimate friendship. Perhaps it surprised you that your friend Test run two promenades by the river and a lingering glance at the spider pits. Perhaps not. The elation of fresh romance is intoxicating, but how long can this probably last? You have 120 rounds. Oh, it's increasing. Edris has not changed because you can't change it higher than 10. Yes, I love it, I love it, I love it a lot. Two of bats. Oh no. I will just keep it. I'm pursuing a name I know. A parliament of bats. Bats zip to and fro above. Their cries sounds almost like speech. Release a bat into the cloud. If you have a sulky bat, this might be a good opportunity to cheer it up. But will it come back? For a moment, you think you have seen the last of your bat. It disappears into the cloud of bats overhead, and doesn't return for a good hour. You are halfway across town by then, ordering roast chestnuts from a vendor, and it drops out of the sky and clings onto your shoulder, folding its wings and as sulkily as ever. But it seems to have picked up a tiny scroll of paper from somewhere. Did it fight a messenger bat? You read the scroll with interest. Haha. Take a look at this. And this. The life of crime. What's happening today? What's happening today then, Gob? You're cut of the cake. It's time to accept tribute from your lackeys. A good handful of rusty gold. A possible take, all things considered, will have been more if not for that copper turning out honest. Okay, that's so funny. A relaxed day at the club. The Parthenon is so very civilized. They pass in a pleasant haze. All it lacks is a few dusty sunbeams slanting from the skylight. Why will you ever go home? Fall asleep in front of the fire. Well, pretend to fall asleep and keep an ear out. Long ears. The Parthenon is quiet. The crackle of the fire, the slow tick of a clock, and the occasional click of billiards balls don't so much break the silence as carries it. One can hear a long way if one puts one's mind into it. More, please. Two of bats again. Yes, go. I don't need that. Swap incendiary gossip. The right people will pay handsomely for this information. The fog of cigar smoke. In the back rooms of your club, it's hard to see who's talking to whom. This can be an advantage for everyone. You were fortunate. You have lost one scrap of incendiary gossip, you have gained one identity uncovered, and shadow increase of everything. The very devil! A chance conversation and a dozen seemingly unrelated facts click into place like ball bearings. The whispers on the street corner, the covered carriage, and the raven that fell mute. At last, it all makes sense. A dream about a town square. You dream of standing in a town square. You have been here before. Crowds mile and push past you. Everyone is bandaged. Many are unraveling. Try to catch one. Grasp at the trailing bandages as people go past. You were unlucky. Pawing at the air. You snag at the trailing bandages, but they slip through your fingers. You feel like a cat surrounded by elusive pieces of string. I have gained everything bad. Mirrors and clay. What are the secrets that lie behind the mirrors of the need? And what do they have to do with the claymen? Unfinished men. Claymen that lack something tangible usually. Sometimes something else too. But why should this take them so But why will this make them so dangerous? A moral lack? Some say that the essential thing all unfinished men lack is compassion. That is the first thing to go, and that's why their limbs begin to fall off, their senses to decay. They say that coming from Polytrim, where all things are in constant turmoil, compassion is part of every clayman's fabric. That it is London that brings it out of them. Also, we take away the compassion from the clayman. But we will travel to the Shattered Palace. The traitor Empress hasn't left the palace in 30 years. Her consort still arranges concerts and banquets in the darkly glittering rooms and dripping gardens. You may be invited, but go carefully. She dislikes sudden movements. Restored to her enduring majesty court. Won't they be pleased to see you? Hello, darlings! How is everyone doing? Did you miss me? Entering her enduring majesty court. It's probably safe to go back now. A developer's series of footmen. It is as before. One footman believes you to the next. Through the hushed corridors of the palace. Let's read it again. It is as before. One footman delivers you to the next. Through the hushed corridors of the palace. The first is dressed in charcoal grey. Each one is a shade more somberly dressed than the last. The one who opens the door to the inner precincts is in unrelieved black. And here you are again. Remember to keep your voice down, and make nothing of the whisper behind your back. You are returned, and other those envious dullards can say will change that. Did you miss me, ladies and gentlemen? I miss you a lot. Please, allow me to go on a hunt. Oh, no, sorry. I will go in the corruption of youth. The palace enforces a sedated and stuffy atmosphere, but you have seen hints of a secret, livelier side to some of the younger visitors. Join a picnic expedition. Some of the younger socialities are planning lunch in a remote corner of the gardens. Accompany them. Their smile hint that lunch is not all they are planning. Oh la la, yes! A delightful afternoon. The young people chatter happily as you wend your way to the far corner of the grounds. You settle in a charming spot, secluded and surrounded by rare blue fungi. Blankets are spread, wine open, and little threads pass around. These include drops of a very fine quality prisoner honey, a blend that makes sharing dreams come as easily as holding hands. In these shared honey dreams, it is easy to find ways to enjoy the company, the intimacy of the people you're with. You and your companions spend a lovely afternoon together, and you take away the promise of more. Yes. Hedonists cannot change. The seduction of music, like the Egyptians. Under normal circumstances, music is frowned upon in the palace. Frequently, dances and saloons feature string quarters of chamber orchestra who remain silent. Their sole function is decorative. But some of the younger socialities are inclined to rebel, holding recitals in far corners of the attics. You should join in. A delightful soiree. The organization of the recitals is deliciously cloth and dagger. Secret messages turn into posies, coded hand signals. A young lady lets you know with a flick of her fingers that tonight's concert will be held in one of the lesser-used staterooms. Your job is to bribe any passing servants to keep them quiet. The young musicians play with all their hearts. After so much time without music, everyone in the room is entranced. They look at each other and at you with shining eyes. You take the opportunity to deepen some acquaintanceships, and there is a bribe fund money to spare. Oh yes, this is beautiful. I really miss the palace. Make friends with the Empress dog. A puppy come rushing up to you, strolling the gardens. As you stroll in the gardens. Adorable little thing, but he looks like the one you have been told belonged to the Empress. Keep your distance. You have already got one scar from an encounter with a canine, albeit one is as different as it's possible to be from this little scrap, but still, says nice doggy, and move on. Deep in nightmares. The dog rushed off to beg someone else to play with him. Much later in the dark of night, you dream of the Eater of Chains return to you more vividly than ever. You are close enough to feel his hot breath. You can see the tips of his fur outlining in the yellow moonlight. The glow in his eyes is fathom deep. When you wake, you are drenched in sweat. I defeat this dog before. I can do it again if I want to. But that will be all, because make friends with the Empress dog. I could take the dog with you. It will be pleasant to have company for your walk. You can throw sticks for him to fetch, and so forth. I will do that. An odd turn. The puppy gambols at your feet as you walk through the gardens. He runs after sticks, chases his own tail, and bounces through beds of decorative fungus. Luckily, no gardener will dare to reprove him. But when you come to one of the wilder, forgotten areas of the garden, the dog leaps away and goes racing into the thick undergrowth. You search long and hard, but he's nowhere to be found. If anyone finds out, you're facing exile. Thankfully though, when you return, the puppy's asleep in the front of a fire in one of the parlours. In your bed at night, you dream of night forest and a vast wolf, eyes burning in the dark. It is not a pleasant dream. I could go again. Give the puppy a biscuit. How could you resist his big brown eyes? And the Empress will surely look favorably on someone who is kind to her dog. He likes you. The puppy jumps up at you, excited beyond reason by a simple biscuit. His joyful enthusiasm is in contrast to much of life at the palace, and you stop to stroke his head. You were right about the Empress liking those who like her dog. There is a present waiting for you at dinner. Later, though, you dream of a ferocious, slavering marsh wolf, bigger than any of you have ever heard of. Eyes flare in the darkness, jaws snap at your heels. Damn, but I know who this dog is. This is not a little dog that you're seeing here. It's actually little in real life, and in the world of dreams, he's a monster. Well, what's your next word? The veterinary privy councillor looks expectantly at you. Aloria among poets. In an effort to restore the ancient and noble art of poetry from its contemporary association with honeydens, poverty and poor moral hygiene, the palace has assembled a selective committee. What do I need? A fine piece 5. This is new. The committee has a sole purpose, to select London's poet laureate. The criteria are stringent, the procedure is exhaustive. All artistic efforts will be taken into consideration. Will you follow in the footsteps of Tennyson, Wordsworth, Mr. Pye? Submit your work for consideration. The laureate committee will examine your work's moral character, its literary merit, and its harmony within the canon. Look at this. I will have to do that later, because I can't do that now. What's your next word? The veterinary private counselor looks expectantly at you. His glass of port quivers daintily in his hand. What's your next project? Write poetry. Poetry is a mirror which makes the distorted beautiful. The neat could benefit from your reflections. Poetry, says the veteran private counselor. How very fashionable. He seems only the tiniest bit disappointed. How very fashionable. He seems only the tiniest bit disappointed. A city of culture. Oh my god, I have so many things to do now. Oh god, so many things. I love it. Where do I start? Okay, let me see first what card. A past benefactor. Your benefactor. Things seems to so simple back then. A friend, a gift, a mission. Perhaps one day you will have a protégé of your own. I remember this. What happened to your friends? Did they find what they were looking for? Oh, I remember they were two. Oh, my god. There were two urchins in a... It was a long shack, I think. Oh god. Well, the last action is about to take. Nature in the need. The ecology in the need does not encourage inspiration. Limpid pools are liable to be infested with fletcher crabs. The greasy smog of fallen London subsumes all but the loneliest of clouds. Seek inspiration in nature. Head out into the fog. Find some damn nature and bring the inspiration from it till it wakes. On the dock of the sea. Down by the dock. The oily black water carries the shore. Steep doors trundle their barrows. Men with axes and hammers attack the black coral. Far out on the other sea, steamers strain towards the Tom colonies, the elder continent, Polythreme. It's far from natural, but it's not without a melancholy charm. Onwards! Oh, I love this game. I love to be back in the palace. So much time has passed. Like 2 years, I think. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed my reading. See you next time in Fallen London. I was the Lost Chevalier. I was glad to be your host. See you next time.